Thanks, Allie, and welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about the latest advancements in MicroStation Connect Edition. We've done a lot with Connect Edition over the last 2 years, and I wanted to catch you up on some of the things that we've done and some of the things that we're planning, as well as some of the latest features that we've introduced in the last couple of updates. So let's get started and take a look at what are the latest advancements in MicroStation Connect Edition. I want to start by explaining a few things about MicroStation as it sort of changed over the Connect Edition. First of all, we actually are developing something called Power Platform, and Power Platform is the technology that MicroStation is based on. But Power Platform is also the technology that is used to create PowerDraft, OpenRoads Designer, and many other Bentley products. The idea here is relatively straightforward. We wanted to have a single version that all applications are built upon. In the past, if you were using V8i, you may have had to use a different build of MicroStation for Descartes than you did for Inroads. So that did cause some confusion, and we wanted to make sure that we made it easier for you to use these products by developing the Power Platform technology. So kind of interestingly enough, in Update 5, the first product to be released was OpenRoads Designer, and then we released MicroStation. So it was, I think, the very first time we ever released another product in a new generation that wasn't MicroStation first. So just wanted you to be understanding that we are actually developing a platform technology, or have developed a platform technology that supports all of our products. So we first released MicroStation Connect Edition in September of 2015, which we kind of fondly refer to as Release 0. And we've been on a heartbeat release cycle of 4 releases a year. We are well aware that you have a experience with your mobile applications and mobile devices where you get frequent updates to your software. And we're trying to fulfill that same sort of experience here in the desktop world by trying to give you new features and new technology in a more timely fashion. We have made MicroStation Connect Edition fully 64-bit, so you can handle very large files, and it makes it substantially faster than it was in the past. The user experience that we have has been updated to take advantage of the Windows 8.1 desktop, which if you are familiar as the ribbon interface that you will find in your Office products. So very easy onboarding. It's easy to switch to MicroStation Connect Edition because you're already familiar with the interface, really. In addition, we've added very powerful search capabilities, making it much easier to find just about anything you want inside MicroStation. I'll quickly show that in a couple of minutes here. We are currently shipping MicroStation Connect Edition Update 7. In fact, it just released yesterday, so good timing on our part. I'll go over some of the things that we added in Connect Edition 7 in just a few minutes, but just to let you know, the next version of MicroStation is Update 8, and that is slated for January of 2018. So just to give you a quick history of the quarterly updates, we are very excited about the software update technology. You can update your installation of MicroStation by running an update. This is kind of like running a patch or just doing a quick update. So instead of downloading 2 gigabytes of stuff and then installing this giant package, you simply download maybe 200 megabytes or less of information and install the new stuff on top of your existing MicroStation Connect Edition. So software updates are very nice, and as we just mentioned, we just released Update 7. You can see that we are pretty close to sticking to that a release every 3 months, once a quarter. Just Several questions people usually have about MicroStation Connect Edition is what are the supporting operating systems? Is there anybody else having trouble with some sound? I'm hearing that there's some sound issues out there. Is that any better? Okay, I'll just continue on here and see what happens. The supported operating systems are any 64-bit Windows operating system. These would be Windows 10, Windows 8.1, Windows 7 64. We also support the server operating systems and are currently in the process of confirming and certifying the Server 2016 operating system. We did not change the DGL file format. We don't do that. We've only changed it once back in 2000, and we don't have any plans on changing the DGN file format in the immediate future. As well, the DGN libs and other file formats inside MicroStation did not change. So your RSC files that you might use for line styles or for fonts, those are all the same. And you can run MicroStation Connect Edition and V8i on the same workstation. So it's a good idea to go ahead and install it and get a feel for it and start to learn about it. Since it's not going to interfere with anything that you're doing with MicroStation V8i. With regards to any custom programs that you may have written, the VBAs, even though we've updated our VBAs to 64-bit, the VBA engine to 64-bit, your existing VBAs will still continue to work. Of course, you want to test that to make sure that they're all okay, but your existing VBAs should work, so they do not need to be recompiled. MDLs, which were written in C or C++, those will need to be recompiled because the 64-bit graphics engine of MicroStation will require that those particular applications have to be recompiled as 64-bit applications. So we do have courses available. We do have a lot of help available from our development teams. So if you're interested in finding out more about MDLs, please feel free to contact us, and we'll be happy to help there. So where can I find out more about Connect Edition? Well, there's really one stop here, and that's the Connect Advisor. So the Connect Advisor is your one-stop shop for all Bentley products and learning, no matter if it's V8i or Connect Edition. But if you're going to be learning about Connect Edition, it's probably the best way to get started to learn about it. You can find that it's a very helpful utility to search for the very contextual type of information that you need at the time. So if you're looking for a specific video, maybe a 1-minute video on something, you'll be able to find it very quickly through Connect Advisor. We've upgraded a lot of products to the Connect generation. And just a couple quick ones here, as you can see, but I'll show you in just a minute here a lot more products that are on the way. In addition, we are continuing to support the real DWG file formats. As you know, the DWG file format changed with AutoCAD 2018, and we now support that AutoCAD 2018 file format. That's with Update 7. So if you're looking for a 2018 file format compatibility, please install Update 7 of MicroStation Connect Edition. All right, let's take a look at some of the products that we've upgraded to Connect Edition. Basically, most everything in our portfolio has been updated or is in the process of being updated. We do have a few products in beta, like OpenPlant Modeler and Open Utilities. Bentley Substation are in beta right now, but slated to release those by the end of the year. So you'll find that whatever it is that you're looking for in terms of a vertical, there is more than likely a Connect Edition version available for you. So please go ahead and get started by looking at some of these vertical applications and seeing how you can use them in your workflows. There's a lot of exciting new technology in these applications. A lot of new things are available for you. So please feel free to take advantage and install any of these and get started with them. All right. Bentley Map is actually in the process as well. We are in the process of updating Bentley Map, and it will be available in Q4. So you can download the beta right now, Mika. Good to see you. And we'll also have a new application called Open Utilities, which will be based on Bentley Map technology as well. So a couple of interesting new Bentley Map Connect Edition applications coming. Okay, so let's move on. And actually, I just want to quickly jump into MicroStation before I get too far into other things. I want to show you a couple of quick things. The first thing that I really wanted to emphasize on is the search capability. The search ribbon is up here in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see that you have the ability to search for anything. So if I type in the word line, it's going to find all instances of the string line in the ribbon and in the backstage. So there's 27 instances of the word line. If I want to actually just pick up, let's say, place smart line, I can simply just click on it, and that will actually start the command for me, and I can start to draw my lines. I'm actually using a strange line style right now, so apologies for that. So there's the search engine. Now, it actually also searches in the backstage. So if I come back here, you'll see it also remembers my most recently used ones. So it searches the backstage. So here's configuration variables. It takes me straight to the configuration variables dialog box, so I don't have to go look for it. You'll notice that we also added search here. So if I'm looking for a specific variable, it used to be a little bit difficult. So if I'm looking for variables that have to do with dgnlibs, I can type in dgnlib, and I can reduce this list to variables that have to do with dgnlib only. So for example, one of my, most people are looking for like design file settings. So there it is, design file settings. And much easier to get to these dialogues now. You just use the search window. We're all familiar with how to use searches, but here you can get to your working units and all the other things that you might want to change with your design file settings. So I'd remind you that the search is really an important part of the learning process, but I've also found it to be a very quick and handy way to run MicroStation on a daily basis. Another question coming in, will Bentley Map move to EC attributes item types for attribute storage? I'm not quite sure. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But I'm pretty sure that we will be supporting, it will be supporting item types. Whether or not attributes will be stored as item types or as EC attributes, I'm not sure. But I will get back to you on that one. Okay, so if you've done any programming at all in the MicroStation world, we've done a lot of work here on the SDK. So some of the latest advancements are we've modernized all of our APIs, we've better integrated the .NET environment, we've updated our Microsoft VBA to 64-bit. We've upgraded to the Visual Studio 2015 compiler if you're going to be using Visual Studio for your programming platform. And there's lots of new examples that we provided in the SDK. So you want to go down and grab that SDK if you're a programmer and take a look at what we've added in there. There are new Bentley Developer Networks BDN courses for updating all of your MDLs to 64-bit. And a quick note here, shout out to one of our partners here is InnovoCAD. They provide awesome service with regards to a templated methodology of using Visual Studio. So if you're going to do any Bentley programming, custom programming, InnovoCAD has got some great tools for Connect Edition to do that programming. It'll make it a lot easier, trust me. It'll save you hours and hours of time using their tools. So, highly recommend. Okay, so one of the things that we have done, though, is to add lots of new features. And so every update has something new in it. But with a 3-month cycle, it's a little difficult to do a proper beta program. So what we've done is we have created these technology preview states. And you'll see them noted inside the software with an overlay icon, this yellow triangle with a black dot. Now, these technology preview states are in 3 classes: limited access, general access, and commercial release. So, limited access is when we want to expose some new technology to a small private targeted group. If you're interested in joining that group, you're more than welcome to. Just send me an email, and I'll put my email address into the chat window. And you can just drop me an email, and I'll put you on the list for the limited access user group. This allows us to get some early access feedback. It requires a couple of things. First of all, you need a special token file, and you have to install it in the right place. So it's not like just turning on a variable or something like that. You need the special token file to get access to the limited access technology. Now, once we've gone through a limited access cycle, gotten some feedback, we then will have the ability to turn it to general access, which is the first time it's actually visible inside the application. And basically, it's automatically installed, but you can make it unavailable from the installer. You can uncheck the feature. And it is also denoted by that tech preview icon, so you'll still recognize that this is still not a commercially released feature of the application, but it's ready for production. People can go in and try using it. We'll still take feedback on it. We'll still make changes as necessary before we get to commercial release. And there's really no timing for this. It doesn't have to be 3 months, 6 months, or whatever it happens to be. It happens to be however long it takes to develop. It takes that long. We'll keep it in general access for a while, or limited access for a while, depending on the feedback we're getting. So, important to understand that if you want these new things, the only way you can get access to them is to drop me an email, and I'll put you on the list. All right, let's talk about the updates themselves. There's been a lot of things that we've added, and I'm not going to go through each and every single one of them. I'd like to spend a little bit more time on the most recent updates and some of the more recent technology that we've added. But we started basically by checking for updates in the product. Some important highlights I want to expose here. The RFA importer and the ability to place RFA directly into DGNs. RFA is the Revit family architecture, and that is a file format that allows you to place Revit objects. It could be a door, a window, it could be a chair, it could be anything at all that's been created as an RFA file for Revit. And those Revit family files are now available for use in MicroStation. You can just place them as parametric cells, so the full parametric capabilities are still there. We did some things with reality meshes. I'm going to talk about that in more detail, sort of a roll-up of all the great stuff that's been going on with reality meshes. But update 2 really was RFA was a big thing, as well as export to LumenRT and reality mesh stuff. With update 3, we added in support for the new .i model format. New, it used to be a .i.dgn, which is our iModel format, but now it's the actual extension is .imodel, .imodel. So we've added support for that and provided you the ability to do your migrations of your V8i workspaces to your Connect Edition configurations with a wizard. So this does one project at a time. Gives you a good head start on how to set up your Connect Edition configurations based on your V8i workspaces. Update 4, particularly busy one, as you can see. A few changes to configuration and interoperability, like Real DWG 2017 support, new features in 3D and visualization. But probably the biggest one here in Update 4 was the Bentley Connect Advisor. And the Bentley Connect Advisor is, as I mentioned a little earlier, your learning tool that is contextual to what you want to do. So Bentley Connect Advisor allows us to search a variety of sources to find out information that we're particularly interested in at the time, like perhaps how to do a configuration in Connect Edition. It's your one-stop for all of your Bentley learning needs. In addition, we did provide a new service here as well, the project standards sharing service. It's actually one of my favorite little tools. It's a way to share all of your standards, your DGN libs, your cell libraries, your macros, with all the other team members on that project by using our connected projects on connect.bentley.com. So cloud-based projects standard sharing. Okay, Update 5, a lot of new things as well here. Again, kind of the big ones for Update 5 really were online help. So the help is no longer, it's still installed on your machine. So if you're offline, you can still get help. But we also provided help online where you can go and actually add in comments and take a look at other people's information that they've added. So online help. We also added a lot of new features with references, with the ability to activate cache references and do cache synchronization through key-ins. So that entire reference caching system was updated, and it was now the Visible Edges engine is, I think, over 90% faster than it was in previous versions of MicroStation. So really substantial optimization and speed capabilities were put in Update 5 for our Visible Edges engine for references. Of course, that's a great benefit for dynamic views since it uses the Visible Edges engine throughout the dynamic views and hypermodeling process. So really excited about those incredible speed advancements in Update 5. Plus, we also added the issue resolution service in Update 5. This is a very interesting service, a way to do markups and red lines through the cloud. So you have a person in the field with, let's say, an iPad or a laptop. They've pulled up a drawing, and they're looking and inspecting the construction site. And they can make a change using the issue resolution service, saying, please inspect this pump type or check the type of flange we're using here, something like that. And that issue is then sent up through the cloud back down to the office, where somebody in the office can pick it up instantly and then make the changes and then send the changes back to the person in the field. So a way to share data and red lines, etc., from the field to the office. Well, Update 6 just recently released. We did some additional things to issue resolution and released a lot of new features in 3D as well. We also added in the scalable mesh format and the project-wise context share browser, which I'll talk about in just a minute here. So, update 7, Real DWG 2018, also interoperability with other formats. Some of the more interesting things that we're going to do here, we're going to go into more detail in all of these, by the way, just a minute here, is raster line styles. So instead, we're all familiar with custom line styles. Well, we've added raster elements to line style, so you can actually do a complete raster type of line style. We've added a new features to our item types, including the edit item dialog. There are also in technology preview states the ability to use pick lists with your item types. So there's a pick list manager for the item types. And we've provided a user feedback service here as well. So if you like something or dislike something, you can let us know. This is not used for technical support. It's just kind of like the feedback that you would use with social media to provide approval or disapproval of technology here. And we've also done some associative line terminators, which is something that has been hanging on for a long time, and actually is a very nice little feature. So yeah, update 7 is available for download right now. It is available as of yesterday, so please feel free to download it if you get the chance. All right. Let's take a look at a lot of some of the highlights that we've basically gone over here. There's a lot of things that we've done. I want to emphasize the things like reality modeling, documentation center, basically property-driven everything, and more interoperability, and in general, just the Connect experience. So let's take a closer look at some of these things. So reality modeling, we're all familiar with some of the concepts here. It's become really important in our industry very quickly. You take simple digital photographs from a drone or perhaps from an airplane or from your cell phone camera, and you can turn those into three-dimensional models. Well, the three-dimensional model format has changed. We now have the 3SM, the three-dimensional scalable mesh file format. That replaces our 3MX format. So it's scalable. I'll show you what that means in just a second here. So photos to a three-dimensional model using some machine vision and cool technology. And basically what you do is you have some overlap between your photos with your drone, about 10 to, each point in the model has to be seen by 3 photographs. And once you do that, you can then take that and turn that into a three-dimensional model. So what we've done for and the latest advancements with Connect Edition in terms of reality modeling are the ability for us to classify our reality meshes. This enables us to take GIS information and enable our meshes with that GIS information. So here you can see down here, we have the city of Philadelphia, and underneath it is the SHP file from ESRI, the GIS information for the city of Philadelphia. And this allows me, by classifying or enabling my reality mesh with the GIS information, I can then come back out and select individual things inside of the mesh, like this building. In addition, not only do I have the ability to locate individual objects within the mesh, but I get all of their GIS properties as well, so I can see a lot of information about this particular building directly from the mesh. So I can query the mesh to find out all sorts of interesting information. We also added in, as you can see, reality mesh clipping. And a few more features for reality meshes. So, for example, we added the project-wise context share cloud service. Now, what this actually is a way for us to stream and share are reality meshes. So as you can imagine, things start to get a little, if you have a very large reality mesh like the city of Philadelphia, it can be a large file, and it can be a little difficult to share. So this cloud processing service and sharing service allows us to actually share our three-dimensional reality meshes with all of our project participants by keeping it on the cloud and then streaming it to people who need it. And it is streamed to you, so you don't have to download a 6 megabyte file or 6 gigabyte file. It comes down a little bit at a time wherever you need it. And this is where the scalable mesh is so nice. Now, it scales based on the level of detail that you need. So if you're far away from an object, you don't need a lot of level of detail. So this one doesn't have it. This is the 3 on this side here. On the left here, you can see that this is the 3MX format. And when you look at this building here, you can see that the windows are not very clear. Things are a little bit fuzzy. But you come over here to the 3SM format. As you get closer, you get more and more detail. So here you can see the windows are very clear. You don't have fuzzy objects anymore. And it's all streamed to you so that you don't have to download large files. So that's instantly available. Now, probably the most exciting part about this whole thing is the cloud processing service. Here you can upload images. You have predefined settings that are up there that you can change, of course. And then you can use the cloud to build your three-dimensional mesh. So this enables you to harness lots of processors or lots of memory if you don't have that available on your machine. And let's say you needed to get this reality mesh done in a few minutes. Well, it would be hard to do on a desktop machine or even a server. But in the cloud, you can do just about anything, because if you think about it, the cloud is not just a large storage area on the internet. It's actually lots of processors too. So it's really a supercomputer at your fingertips. We've never really had that before, so we're kind of baffled by what to do with it. I think most of us are. But it's amazing what you can do with it, because I can throw thousands of processors at a reality mesh creation job and get it done in a few seconds. So you've got a supercomputer, take full advantage of it. That's the cloud. Question coming in: migration from MicroStation Update 5 would need us to install Update 6 and Update 7, or just Update 7 would do? You can just install Update 7. It'll automatically find the things that it needs, and you'll be fine. So you don't have to. You can skip updates if you want to, and install every other one if you want to do something like that. So, all right. So lots of new things with reality modeling. Just remember, you can integrate all kinds of data types, MicroStation elements, like here on the left. You've got your reality meshes. You've got raster. All of this can be referenced and put together. You can use the reality mesh classification to find individual objects, locate individual things inside of a mesh. Here you can see you got all that GIS information, so I can actually go in and find information about this particular building and locate, for example, any work orders that might be outstanding from our asset management system. So you can go into the asset management system here and take a look and see what is needed to maintain this particular building. Similarly, I can go in and do my queries and look for work orders that are in a specific state, and find out what's going on with these particular work orders, which buildings are affected, and that quickly allows me to query the entire campus and find something that I'm interested in. I can also zoom into a particular building and look at its history with regards to all of the information that's stored in the GIS. Obviously, this is something that we've been thinking about lately. There's a large TV and news services around the world, actually. For example, NHK, we're looking at right here, are using reality meshes to produce three-dimensional content. They'll fly over an area that's been affected with a helicopter and turn it into 3D models and enable that to be shared with viewers viewers as well as web users, online users, to take a closer look and zoom in and see exactly what's been affected. So we're seeing this being adopted by a lot of agencies now just for the disaster recovery and disaster impact studies. As well as we see a lot of it being used for as-built structures, because a lot of as-built structures do not have three-dimensional data. There's no 3D model, let alone three-dimensional surroundings around the model. So things also get built up over time. So this particular structure here has been modified several times over the years. As you can see, it was actually done with 250 21 megapixel photographs. It took 4 hours on one computer. Interoperability is another big thing at Bentley, as you well know. We have made several enhancements to interoperability, not only adding the new DWG formats, updating our ACES and SketchUp formats. We've got some exciting things coming with other file formats. But we've taken this and merged a lot of this information directly into our new iModel format. So here you can see you can create an iModel file. And these iModel files actually in this version allow you to choose which version you want to create. So previously you had the i.dgn. The 1.5 is the first version of the .iModel. Navigator has some additional features. So in update 3 of MicroStation, we added in the support for the Navigator 1.6 format. And then we bundle these together in update 7 so that you can choose which version you want to create. This is just an intermediate step, by the way. We are progressing towards an iModel 2.0 format. And iModel 2.0 is kind of our endpoint of the iModel development. So you won't have to worry about this. This is kind of an unusual thing for us at Bentley to have multiple versions of a file format out there. But that's because we're in the process of really working this iModel concept. And of course, iModels allow us to bring in information from everywhere. It can include spreadsheets and PDFs and hyperlinks. It doesn't matter if it's coming from Revit or Tekla or AutoCAD or MicroStation, OpenRose Designer or Civil 3D. All that data can be pulled in to an iModel, and it can be used by anybody who needs to use it. Remember, an iModel is kind of like a vector version of the PDF. It's immutable. You can't change it. And the 2.0 version of the iModel will have a lot of new features. And so in the interim, we do have these intermediary versions, but that's just a short-term solution. So we did provide you with the ability at least to choose which version of iModel you want to work with. So Raster Linestyles, this is kind of an exciting little feature. It allows for rasters to be included in a custom line style. It provides you the ability to show a more realistic representation of your particular graphic. So here's our classic railroad, and then here's one with a raster line style here. You can also have a corresponding non-raster line style if you do need to print as non-raster. You have the sketchy line style, so very briefly, you can see that they just show up inside your line style list here. So, actually, you had one there. So this is an actual raster. I know it looks like vectors, but it actually is just doing it through raster instead. So you can do all sorts of interesting things here. That may not be at the right scale here. So anyways, raster line styles, they just show up in your regular line style pick list. Nothing new to do there. And then to create them, you go to your line style editor, and you can create them right here. Oops, got the wrong one there. Anyways, if you you create a new one. Here's where you can create. Here's the entry point to creating the raster line styles. Again, how am I going to learn about all this stuff? Connect Advisor. We have some courses out there to show you how to do it. I'll talk about that in just a second. So raster line styles due for update 7. We also added in the edit item feature. This is the edit item dialog. This is very similar to the edit. Remember, item types replace tags, and tags are and item types are non-graphical data about our graphics. So what type of material is this object made from? Where is it located? What is its rating? What does it cost? Well, these are all non-graphical business items that we'd like to keep track of with our graphics. And item types do that in Connect Edition. Tags did that in V8i and previous versions. So you can upgrade tags to item types. And one of the new features that we added here in this version was the ability to have a separate dialog to edit your item types. It was actually done just through the properties dialog in the past versions of Connect Edition. Okay. Do item types work with project-wise? Yes, actually, James, we're right in the middle of that project of converting our title block integration with item types instead of tags. So they will be working with project-wise, absolutely. Question coming in, how are raster line styles depicted when viewed in older versions? Raster line styles, I really would have to go take a close look at that. I don't think there's a problem. So long as the RSC file is available, it's just a standard RSC. But I've never tested that, Mike. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. I've no idea, actually. So James, when item types in project-wise, so item types, I mean, replacing tags in project-wise, we're looking at update 9, which would be March of next year. However, tags still work. So you can use tags in MicroStation today. They still work. You can use tags in project-wise. So there's no issue that you run across. It's all still fine. But ultimately, we will be looking at update 9 to start the switch from tags to item types and project-wise. All right, associative line terminators. This is a really old one. You'll notice that when you had line terminators, which we've had forever, and you had a cell at the end of the element or something like that at the end of the line, and you moved it, it wouldn't rotate with the tangential condition of the endpoint of the line. So now it does. It actually recognizes the tangential condition and rotates that cell at the end so that it stays appropriately attached to your line. So little simple ones here, but I love these little drafting ones. It's what we're all about here. It's just straightforward drafting at times, and these are things that make everybody's life a lot easier. All right. So I've been talking a lot about the Connect Advisor. We have thousands of courses. They span from 1 minute to 1 week in length. We have over 400 hours of material just on MicroStation Connect Edition alone. It is a benefit of Select. So if you are a Select subscriber, Connect Advisor is part of your portfolio of tools. It's relatively easy to get started with. Connect Advisor is found right, signed in, I probably will have to do that. Once you're signed in, and you will need to do that as a connected user, you can then fire up Connect Advisor, and because it's got to keep track of your personal learning, you need to sign in. So you can see Connect Advisor, again, has been updated for Update 7. We've got all sorts of new features in Update 7. There's new contextual learning. There's your ongoing training, your personal learning, your suggestions, your learning paths. In addition, of course, you've got the traditional kind of things here that you might want to do. So if I'm looking for some information, on, let's say, Lumen RT. I can go ahead and search for that. There's, as you can see, 9 entries in the communities. So it searches Bentley communities. It searches the Learn server. So there's all sorts of courses on Lumen RT in the Learn server. And it searches YouTube as well. So you can go ahead and actually use this one search engine to search all places where you might want to look for stuff. Now, you'll also see that you can pick up your quick starts here. So these are courses that are 2 to 4 hours in length that will get you started on MicroStation Connect Edition or other applications. So you can go ahead and search for the quick starts. You can look for upcoming events here, as well as news and announcements. So Connect Advisor, really one-stop shopping for all of this kind of stuff. I highly recommend that you get started with it. If you want to learn about it, help is built in. How do I use Connect Advisor? It's right there. So there's some settings and other things there, but you can learn all about Connect Advisor from Connect Advisor. How funny is that? All right. In the future, it will be dockable. Right now, it is not dockable, but I think maybe update 8 will get it docked, but if not, update 9. Update 8, confidentially, is, so to give you a quick idea of the roadmap coming up ahead. We are doing some additional work on iModels in update 8, and that's one of our larger projects. We are going to be doing some additional features with item types in update 8, and we started working on several new cloud services for update 8. But primarily, update 8 is a defect fix. Everybody else calls them bugs. We call them defects. Sounds more professional, I guess. But defect fixing, we're going to really try to fix as many bugs as we can, and that's our primary goal. It looks like we'll end up doing that once a year. We fix bugs in every release, so that's one of the great things about updates. Not only do you get new technology faster, but you also get the defects fixed quicker. In addition, the quicker you get started with Connect Edition, the quicker you can provide us feedback so that you can help direct its future. All right. Other places you can get information besides Connect Advisor would be our webinars like this, the Tech Talks, and especially our special interest group. You can see that we do a webinar a special interest group for MicroStation Connect Edition on the second Tuesday of the month. And you can go to bentley.com/events to sign up for those. And that's an in-depth dive. The special interest group, we take one particular topic. Like this time, we're going to be doing a three-dimensional constraint modeling. And we're going to dive into it deep for 1 hour. So it's all technical. There's no PowerPoints on the special interest group. It's all MicroStation on the screen. So I highly recommend you come join us for that. Well, come to the end of the session. If there's any additional questions, please feel free to type them into the chat window. All right, if there's no more questions, thank you all for joining me. Thanks for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me.